Good afternoon, everyone. Joe Vodvarka here, liveweatherblogs.com. It's about 5:30 on Monday evening. Beautiful day outside. We actually topped out at 76 degrees here in northeast Philadelphia. Some parts of the region in Delaware and whatnot got to 80 to 81 degrees today. It was a very warm day, which is a good thing when we're going to be talking about thunderstorms. You need warm air ahead of thunderstorms. But we have a few bumps in the roads. We have quite a few things to talk about here, so let's get right into it. First, we're looking at the latest eastern continental U.S. visible satellite loop provided by NOAA. And as you can see here, down across Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, we have a lot of clear skies. If you look here real closely off of Florida and around Georgia, you can see there's a flow starting to develop coming out of the Gulf, starting to push north. With that, if we were to look at water vapor, which we're not going to right now, you'll see dew points there are starting to creep north a little bit. Our dew points right now are still in the low 50s to upper 40s. I expect them to rise overnight into the low 60s as we get into the evening. Now, looking at the visible loop around our area, you can see clouds are trying to push into the area. They're struggling to do right now. I mean, it is cloudy outside, but there's no real thick cloud cover. Later on, it could get thicker, and I'm going to explain why in a few minutes. There's several reasons why. Now, we're going to look at the loop of radar nationally here. As you can see, we got a strong line of thunderstorms. I mean, real strong line of severe thunderstorms back across Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. There's been numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, along with reports. There has been a couple tornado reports, quite a few hail and wind reports. It's been a very busy day in that aspect of things. But I want you to draw your attention to this line right here. That is the prefrontal boundary. That we have to watch right now. I'm not expecting it to really have an impact on us, but what it will do for us is as it gets closer, it will continue to develop, and it will come into central Pennsylvania, but then it will weaken once it hits the mountains and Harrisburg area. And what that will do for us is the cloud tops from it, they will generally start to lower and collapse, and that will allow for cloud cover to set up over our area as the sun is setting tonight. What that can do is that can allow the temperatures to not fall as much. We won't get any radiation or cooling because we won't have the clear skies. So if the temperatures remain warmer, things get interesting for this second line back here, which is the actual cold front itself. It actually stretches back across Ohio, Kentucky, parts of Indiana, down here into Tennessee. We'll talk more about that in a couple minutes. Now let's zoom in closer here and take a look at the storms. You can see we have our developing line back in western Pennsylvania. It's actually becoming strong to severe. Let's take a look at some attributes. The cloud tops here are about 18,000 feet, 14,000 feet. I mean, not real impressive, but there is 70% chance of hail with this E7. Max hail size, the inches, about half an inch. Now let's take a look here in West Virginia where we got some slightly more impressive storms. As you will see here, let's take a look at the attributes with these storms. We got one storm that's up to 1 inch in diameter hail at cell R7. I'll show you that one. As you can see here, that this line is developing. If I was to loop it, however, eventually it's going to weaken, which I will explain why next after we look at lightning. Look at all the lightning here. It's just very impressive this afternoon, the lightning data. You can see it from all the way from the deep south, right even into central Pennsylvania. There's even a couple lightning strikes here in Massachusetts. Not going to affect us. That's from the warm front that triggered a couple elevated storms up there. But what we have to watch, once again, is the second line, which is along the primary cold front. That we are going to get into now. Let's take a look at dynamics. First, let's look at surface-based CAPE. You can see there is not a whole lot of surface-based CAPE going on right now. That's because there's not really much surface-based heating going on out there. What we do have going on right now is a little bit of surface-based lift. You can see it right here across West Virginia and southwestern Pennsylvania. It's on the order of -2. That did go stronger in the last hour. It may go slightly stronger again. We got to watch how far east this gets. I don't expect this to get too far east. Maybe overnight some tries to develop here. We'll see about that. It's real iffy right now. Take a look at bulk effective shear. You can see There's some nice 70 knot shear right around Pittsburgh, and everywhere else it's on the order of 35 to 40 knots with isolated pockets of 55 to 60 knot shear. We will get more into that as I create a forecast map for that in just a minute. Now let's take a look at velocity. We got some strong velocity here in south central Ohio on the order of 600. That's very good for storms. That could actually trigger some rotation if the other conditions are correct. And we have velocity also extending into southwest Pennsylvania. Some of it's trying to pop up here in central Pennsylvania. Yeah, it may try to push east, but it's not going to get too far as the environment's not real favorable for it here. Let's take a look at most unstable Cape values. As you can see, we have a pocket of 1,000 right along the Mason-Dixon line, and then a big pocket here of 500, and then another pocket of 500 back towards Kentucky. That is supportive of some strong to severe thunderstorms and a good amount of lightning. Now let's take a look at the lapse rates. Lapse rates, they have gotten interesting over the last few hours. If you like thunderstorms a lot, we do have some nice lapse rates starting to develop here in eastern Pennsylvania and Delaware. They're on the order of 7 and 7.5 in Delaware, where we have our steepest lapse rates going on right now. We also have a pocket of 7 across West Virginia and southwest Pennsylvania. What this will do is, this is good for thunderstorm development, and it's good for lightning up in the warm sector. Let's take a look at something else that we have going on right now. Let's take a look at hail perimeters. They have gotten slightly interesting as well. Hail perimeters are starting to increase back here across southwest Pennsylvania, and this should spread east as time goes on. How far east, that's a wild card, but this will support an elevated hail threat. So with any storm that does make it into our area, we could see some small hail on the pea size, maybe dime size, basically what I was talking about last night. Now let's look at precipitable water values. And precipitable water values, you will see they are fairly strong back across Ohio on the order of 1.5, which is strong for this time of year. Generally the highest you would see this time of year, even for Ohio, is 1.2 to 1.3. I mean, yeah, 1.5 can happen. It's happening right now, but you don't always see it. Around our area, it's not too strong yet. Those values will continue to increase as the evening goes on, and this will continue to slide off to the east-northeast. I got another map for that. We will take a look at that later on. Now, here's something else I want to show you. I want to look at the dew point values here. It comes up, here we go. You can see the dew points are not too impressive right now, but if I was to change sectors here on the storm prediction map, you would see that we would have higher dew point values to the south. The light blue here that you see, that's 56 to 60 degrees. It's pretty far south right now. It's having a hard time trying to push northeast, but it will later on. One thing I do want to point out that's astronomically impressive for this time of year, you just don't see it. Just look in Virginia. 86 degrees right now. 86 degrees. First week in April and already 86 degree temperatures. Look how close the 76 degree line is to here. Actually, it is 76 degrees here, last I checked on my weather station. But 86 degrees, you don't see that this time of year. That is supportive of severe thunderstorms. Problem is down there, that's where you do have clear skies. Question is, do the clouds advance ahead of the storms, and do we get some do we get the cooling to hold off this evening? That's a question. If we get the clouds to come in, the warming will continue through the evening. Temperatures would hold steady with maybe a slow cooling trend down into the upper 70s. But my golly, you just don't see that this time of year. Now let's take a look at the cold front. Here's the cold front. It's placed in western Ohio, northwest Ohio, right through Indiana, goes down through southern Louisiana, right into Texas. And along that's where you have your best thunderstorms. The warm front is actually just north of the area. It's actually still in some parts of our area. It goes right back to the Mason-Dixon line in central Pennsylvania, and then it goes north. That's why I do think these storms that are forming along the prefrontal boundary will basically hit a brick wall type, but they're not going to weaken here because the warm front's moving northeast. The storms are moving east-northeast. The warm front is moving, but the storms are moving faster than the warm front. So eventually it will catch up to it, and that's going to be around the Harrisburg area that it does so. Now let's look at 3 mesoscale analysis maps that I made. As you can see, this arrow right here, this map was created before the latest update of the SBC mesoscale data. So it's not the date, but it does show the point that I'm trying to get across to you. Latest most MU cape will be spreading east across southwestern Pennsylvania into central Pennsylvania. This will occur over the next few hours. The question is, as the sun sets, do we get any further development of this? Right now I'm thinking we will see some minor development. I'm expecting values in our area to max around 500. There could be a couple pockets where it reaches 1,000 back just to the west of the region, but right now it's going to be hard to come by. It could happen, though. And what this will do, this will be supportive of at least strong thunderstorms in our area. Now let's take a look at the elevated instability. We got elevated instability all the way back into Texas, which you can't see on this map, but we do have it there. And looking into our area, it is fairly impressive right now. It should come slightly more impressive later on. We will have to monitor it. Now let's continue along here and look at the effective shear. I did circle the area where the best effective shear is going on right now. I put this brownish type color right here. That's where I expect the effective shear values to continue eastward, and anywhere east of that you will not see strong effective shear values. You will see weak at best. Anywhere west of it, that's where the best values will end up. Just follow the blue arrows here, and that's basically where they will end up. Let's take a look at my forecast map now. If you are west of this dark blue line, that is where the best chance for severe weather will be this evening with the prefrontal boundary and the cold front. East of that, we are looking for strong to severe thunderstorms with isolated severe, only isolated severe, with the actual cold front that will be coming through after midnight into tomorrow morning. The primary threats with this will be heavy rainfall and lightning, strong gusty winds 50 to 60 miles per hour, and small elevated hail threat. I'm not thinking it's going to be a major hail threat like we had last week, but there could be somewhat of a hail threat. If you are east of this purple line and just west of the black line, that's where you at least have a chance of a thunderstorm. Not a major chance, just at least a chance of a thunderstorm. You could see some lightning, you could see a rumble of thunder and whatnot, and heavy downpours. Winds, maximum gusts for you people, will be up to 45 miles per hour. Now I also want to point out the outflow with these storms will create some rainfall. There will be an area of rain just behind the actual thunderstorms that should move through, generally right behind the storms, and move out of here by about, say, 10 a.m. to noontime. I expect everything to be out of here by noontime tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, the sun will return. We will have a north flush flow set up out of this direction with our cold front, and then temperatures will actually not warm up during the day. They will actually drop throughout the day. In other words, meaning they may start out warm in the morning, but they will be cooling off in the afternoon into the low 50s. That is all I have for now. I am Joe Vodvarka for liveweatherblogs.com. If needed, if the threat is to increase later tonight, I will do a mesoscale analysis update on the site. Thanks for watching.